What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Heart of the City, man. I'm your host, Unpopular Opinion Sports, with my co-host, Coach Ed from Coach Ed Sports, and we are the duo giving you Heart of the City, bringing you all the news and notes around the city. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry about that, but. Like I said, Heart of the City 133, bringing you all the news and notes, man. We are got a lot to talk about. Got the All-Star game to end, the MLB All-Star game. Going to look at the Yankees and the Mets and see what they got going on coming up in the season. Of course, Yankees showing out in the All-Star game last night. Going to talk about that. Brooklyn Nets, man. Summer League action heating up. I'm going to get into that. Of course, moves being made in the NBA. We're going to check on the Knicks, man, and see if the Knicks are all right over there, man. See if the Knicks still all right. Definitely got to get into that. And training camp is soon, Coach. Training camp is soon. Training camp is coming up. Giants news on the injury front. And the Jets, man, they're going to try to make a playoff push this year, and they're going to have to win some games. And we're going to ask the question, can that secondary step up, man, and help that defense? So all that and much more. Of course, we got Coach's segment. We got Coach's Corner. And speaking of Coach's Corner, Coach, what's good with you, man? How you feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm good. Definitely ready for today's episode. Ready to rock and roll and talk the scene around the heart of the city. So how about you? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling, man. I just been catching a lot of summer league action, so peeping some things out. So won't talk about it, man. But other than that, man, I ain't doing much. Ready to get into this content. So we're going to kick it off, man. Heart of the City coming right back here, right after the intro. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are streaming on multiple platforms. So, hey, man, share the video. It don't cost you nothing. Help a brother out. That being said, let's get into it.
Ricey K, the Raisin Man.
Let's get back into it, man. So, like I said, lots to get into. We're gonna tap in around this. Not gonna tap into around the city. We're just gonna get straight into the content tonight. So, a little different format tonight. Pat is not with us, but we're gonna hold it down for y'all, man. Coach and myself and Coach. Where you want to go first, man? You want to talk some baseball? Let's
Go ahead
Let's
with it.
do a little baseball content, man, to start this thing off, man. And look, uh Yankees, man, the Yankees got to get it together. Um, Coming out this All-Star break. So last night, coach, the Yankees stepped up.
Mhm.
Cody Bellinger knocked in a run.
2 runs.
2 runs, I mean, and then Ben Rice knocked in a run.
Yep.
And they helped the American League win 4-0. Now, can they do shit like that in the real games that count? You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of what I'm looking at, coach.
Mhm.
Can this Yankees team step up? What you think, man?
This team is just so confusing because when you look at the standings, they're only 3 games out of having the best record in all of the American League.
Mhm.
So, but they're
Jacob
not.
Trucy, appreciate you, man. Thanks for this $2 super chat, man.
Mhm.
Salute to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But go ahead, continue, coach.
They're not playing like they're a top team, but they are a top team, and that's now. Yes, we Yankee fans, we have high expectations. I get it. I get it. But when you, as an organization, set the bar high, what are we supposed to think, and what are we supposed to expect? Now, this
Right.
team, and you said it earlier, a lot of times they're playing down to the level of their competition. They're losing to teams they shouldn't lose to.
Mm-hmm.
But then, they go on a 4-game winning streak right before the All-Star break. It's like,
That's true.
what are you doing to us? And now, mind you, they're doing this without a lot of certain key players, Aaron Judge. So does that mean when he comes back and he gets in the swing of things, they're going to be that much better? Now I know there's talks about trades and all
Mhm.
this and that. So, whether it's bullpen depth or catcher, um, maybe another arm, another bat. I don't know. So, but it's hard for me to really quantify this team, because are they just a mirage, or are they really good and they're just, what, they're without their top player. I don't even think Stanton is back. So,
No.
those are 2 key bats, who can at least, force the opposition, the opposing pitchers, what? You got to come correct for the most part. So, um, I'm trying to just not go too crazy with them, but
Mm.
do I want more? Do I want them to be in first place and run the American League? Yeah, yeah, but it's really hard to really quantify this team, bro.
It is, man. It is, man. Now, um, they are the wild card leader right now. They up six and
Mhm.
a half over the Guardians in the Mariners. So you look down right there, coach. This is the shit I be thinking about right here when it comes to the Yankees in baseball. You look down right here, and it's a team called the Boston Red Sox,
Mhm.
and they only a half a game out the wild card spot. Now, division wise, they still behind the Yankees.
Mhm.
As we go to
Mhm.
the division, um,
7 games.
yeah, right here, 6.5. So, but
No, they're 7. They're
yeah,
they're
you're
3
right.
behind Tampa, and they're 10 behind Tampa. So that's
Mhm.
just the wild card. They're 6.5 up in the wild card.
Yeah. So, but coach, the Red Sox recently swept the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And I do worry about this team and how they play in this division, because they struggle against the Rays. They struggle against the Red Sox. They even struggle against the Orioles sometimes. So, Cave, what's good, man? Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the $10 super chat, man. Salute. Says salute to the almighty panel and chat. Smash that like button. Excellent Brandon Ayuk documentary. Yeah, salute. Shout out to Pat for that. Excellent Brandon Ayuk on that documentary. Keep up the great work. Excellent stream, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. They're only a couple games behind the Yankees, though, Coach. Like it's not as and like I said, they just swept them. So are you concerned with how the Yankees play in this division?
No.
You're not? Okay.
No. Like I said, because it's really hard to quantify this team. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm worried. Are there some concerns? Yes, they're legitimate concerns, but I'm not going to sit here and worry. Boston, to their credit, after they got rid of their manager, they're like the Phillies. They're starting to improve. So I got to be respectful of them, but I'm still not worried about them. I'm not. And it just, I would be more concerned with Tampa Bay than I would be the Red Sox, to be honest. Yeah, they just swept them. Okay. What happens later in the season? The Yankees sweep them. So I mean, like I said, this team is hard to quantify. And we're doing I just looked at, what you just showed me. The biggest issue is they're not playing well at home. Look at their road record versus their home record. They're 23-20 at home, but 31-22 on the road.
Yeah.
So if you can just, buckle in and do well at home, this whole thing can change around. And again, you haven't had Judge, you haven't had Stanton. They're going to reevaluate Judge the beginning of August. Now I'm not expecting him.
This Judge thing is kind of, it gets to a point to where it's been going on for years with Stanton. Talk about him, but like these guys, like we need you on the field, and you don't be there, man, for large portions of seasons. He misses games.
Which is why I said earlier, do they need another bat? So I know they talking about Scooble in terms of pitching. I'm like, I'm looking at the rotation. You don't need him.
Yeah,
you really don't need him. I'm more, give me a arm or two in the bullpen.
Cool. And salute.
Cool. And get a catcher. Because you've had issues with the catcher. But you know what? The injuries is just the biggest issue with the Yankees. So, I mean, I appreciate that article. I don't follow him as much as my brother right here. He follows him a lot more. I just keep my toes in so I'm informed. But like I haven't sat down and really watched the game like I used to. But that's going to be coming soon. Trust me, especially when the playoffs come around. As long as they stay in it, I'm going to be right there. But again, you're getting Cole. Cole is still working himself back into the rotation. I mean, I don't worry about the rotation. That's why this Scooble is like, now, there's talk about the pitcher out in San Diego, possibly. So, if you can, get him, does that help? So, I'd rather go from there and see, because I also don't want to try and deplete our farm system. I mean, I know they're not giving up their top two, but, the number 3 is someone who's in consideration, but, you still got to replenish the farm system. So, so it's like I said, this team, it's hard to really quantify them. It's not like you're looking at it's not even like you're looking at the Phillies. The Phillies, under Dan Manley has been playing very well. So,
Mhm.
with the Yankees, I just, I gotta see a little bit more, and that's crazy to say right now, but I got to see closer towards the end of the season, especially when, when you get Judge back, when you get Stanton back, can they play themselves into shape and, you know, help this
Mhm.
team? 'Cause
Yeah.
I will say this one last thing. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do think if you get them and they play to their potentials, to what we know that they can be, then I think hands down that, and you get you a closer and a catcher. That's the other thing. Then I
Yeah.
think it changes the narrative with the Yankees. I do really do think, and it would give me a little bit more confidence that they would do well in the playoffs.
hmm So, Padres right-handed pitcher Mason Miller,
Hmm.
and Twins center, I mean catcher. We gotta see that. See,
Hmm.
I'm always thinking
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
center. Um, Catcher Ryan Jeffries are expected to be among the Yankees' top targets at the trade deadline, according to John Heyman of the New York Post. So, yeah, because you got Austin Wells, and
Hmm.
yeah, man, he ain't cutting it.
Mm.
So, yeah, if you can get this date, and they've been looking at Jeffers for a
Mhm,
while now.
mhm, mhm,
Now Miller, I mean, you getting somebody for that bullpen,
mhm,
because the bullpen has also struggled.
mhm,
When Judge and them were in the lineup, when they were healthy, it was the bullpen blowing a lot
mhm.
of games. Now that they not healthy, they can't hit or pitch out the bullpen. All they getting right now is good starting pitching.
Mhm.
So you definitely need to add a bat. And you got two targets right here. You know, so let's see what they do. Now they're gonna have to get it together, because coming out the gate, I mean,
Mhm.
they got a little stretch here. You got the Dodgers, that
Pirates,
series
Pirates
starting.
are
Yep. The Pirates are doing decent this year.
The Phillies.
And then the Phillies, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then you have the White
Looks
Sox
like.
after that, who are in first place in their division. So it ain't getting easy.
Mhm,
You know what I'm
mhm, mhm,
saying? It ain't
mhm.
getting easy. And they're gonna have to get healthy quick, because if you lose a couple of these series and that gap starts to close between you and the rest of those teams in the AL, as down as the AL is this year, like you said, if they can hang on, but it's going to be tough. The Dodgers ain't no joke. We already know what they bring in.
Mhm, mhm,
Now, the Yankees can beat the Pirates. Yeah, they can beat the
mhm,
Phillies.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? They can beat the White Sox. But the way they've been playing pre All-Star break, I don't know if they can beat those teams. That's what I'm saying,
That's
coach.
why I said you can't quantify them. So that's why I can't go be too concerned of Boston, because they shown they can play well, but then yeah, they show that they can't play well. So it's like, well, which team are we going to get? It's like, it's too inconsistent. So
Mhm.
that's why, to me, it's like, you know what? First of all, let me see what you're going to do at the trade deadline. We got what, a little over 2 weeks left before,
Mhm.
because it's August the 3rd. So so what's going to happen, and then we can start to really see, I mean, last year, Cashman did make a lot of moves and reshape the team. Right at the trade deadline. So, what's he going to do this year? What's he going to do to help this team? Because I think they're right about where they were last year, and then once they made the trades, it pushed them to really be tops, completely tops, along with Toronto at the top of the AL completely. So, um, that's really what it boils down to. First and foremost, what are you doing at the trade deadline? Two, when we get, Judge and, whoever else back, what's going to happen? So
Yeah.
I'll leave it right there.
Yeah, nah, good stuff, bro. Because that's pretty much it, man. But so now we're gonna go to the Mets here. Let me get that back up. And bro, they got one All-Star. So you had Juan Soto out there. And Juan Soto, I mean, he's not playing bad, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's hitting 290, 405 and 562. Those are slashing numbers. With a 967 OPS. He's the only Met with an over 800 OPS as Lindor, Bichette, and Marcus Semien has not. They're not doing anything. Right? Now I'm not a Met fan, so I'm not going to get deep into the Mets, but I will say this: you fired the manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You starting to run out of excuses a little bit because you paid all these people all this money. You want to act like this big city team, and it's not working out. So you get rid of some guys. You let Alonso walk or whatever. Okay, cool. Then you go into this season, and then now you fire the manager. So who's the next one on the chopping block? David Stearns. That's the GM. So once you get rid of him, like you starting to run out of excuses. At some point, people there just got to do their damn job. So, but you can't be on Juan Soto's back foot. That's what I'm saying.
You're right. Lindor and all those other guys they brought in, they're not producing, and Lindor's getting big money, and you're playing like that. No, I mean it's unacceptable. I mean, he's getting over 300 million. You're playing like a middle of the bench type of player.
The Mets coach are 40-57.
But
they are
second worst in the National League. I think they're fourth overall.
Yeah, they are. They're one game better than the Colorado Rockies right now. And 2 games better than the Angels and Royals. So yeah, they right there at the bottom though. And unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I really don't like to pick on the Mets. Like I said, I love all the New York teams. You know what I'm saying? We root for the teams over here, heart of the city. But I gotta call a spade. A spade. It's going to get worse. You got the Phillies coming out of the gate here, Coach.
Phillies, Milwaukee, the Dodgers,
and
those are all Atlanta. That's all tops.
That's what I'm saying.
Even Miami's playing, fairly decent.
They playing better than you.
Yeah, so you're right. It could get even worse. So the question is, like I said, with the trade deadline coming up, because right now this is your season. Because now, if you're not doing well, or do you become a seller? I mean, first of all, who do you have to sell that teams will want? But I mean, do you
This
become a
got to come
seller
out
right
that
now?
bullpen. I guess some of those cats over there, like I said, I don't know a lot of Peralta. Maybe
Mhm.
you try to move off for Lindor if you can.
Who's going to take that contract? That's the
I
problem.
don't know. I don't know.
I'm with you, bro.
It's gonna be tough. It really is, man, for the old Metis over there, man. But all right. So let's get to let me- we're gonna get to some football. Let's go to the Giants here. And coach, um,
Hmm.
we're getting some news on Scatterbo and
Hmm.
neighbors now. So uh quote coming out here from John Harbar. This is per Patricia Trainer of SI. Um, says they're doing well. They're both rehabbing every day, working super hard. I would say they're on schedule. People hear that and they're like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, I don't really know because nobody knows. They're doing well and they're getting better every day.
Hmm.
Um, he also went on to say, I feel like Scatterbo will be ready early on in camp. And then Malik Neighbors, that is, will be working his way into practice as camp gets started one way or another. And to what degree, we will find out. End quote.
Hmm.
So that's John Harbaugh right there. And yeah, Joe Shane said, he also said he thought he would be fine, whatever. So they're saying Neighbors is gonna be okay. I have been skeptical about Malik
Hmm.
Neighbors, coach.
Hmm.
Scatterbo, not so much. But Neighbors is the one that I'm like, I don't know. That was a nasty knee injury. And Homeboy ain't looked good in that little baseball game they played. So, hard to judge. You don't really know how the cat feeling.
Hmm.
But at the same time, if I'm the Giants, do you really want to rush him out there for week one if you have any types of concerns about his health? Do you want to give him a little bit of a cushion? Do you think you can get through the first 4 or 5 games without Malik Neighbors? So those are some of the questions I'm gonna post to you and post to the chat. Y'all hit the like
Hmm.
button. Go ahead,
What's
coach.
up, Leaf? Look, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna put him out there right off the bat or try and push him. No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. But I'm also not gonna sit here and look. If the dude can come out and he can work himself into shape, then let's go. Let's go. I mean, to hold him back just because, no, no, no. I'm sorry. I can't. If medical tells me, see, that's the thing. If the doctors and everyone tells me he can ramp it up and he can go out there, then I'm trusting them. They're the professionals. I'm not. So I gotta take them for their word. Just because I have some feelings, no, I can't do that because my feelings could be wrong and I could end up hurting the team. Now on the flip side, if he's not ready, of course, I'm with you. Let him sit, let him work his way back, and then you go from there. And then we see what we have, and hey, let's try and just make things happen. But again, if he's not, I mean, if he is ready, Even if that means the first couple of games you let him play a couple of series and you want to slow roll him in that regard, I'm fine with that also, as opposed to playing a full game. You bring him back slowly instead of say 60 plays, maybe you play him at 25 plays. So that's also an option. But the first thing, it depends on what the doctors, the trainers, and all of them are saying. And if they're telling me he's good to go, don't worry about it, then I'm not going to worry about it, because as a player, former player, as a coach, I don't play scared. I don't coach scared, because you know what? You can injure yourself and that's the end of your career. Hell, God forbid someone, and yes, we've heard the stories. I've experienced it live, watching somebody unfortunately meet their demise on the field. And I'm not advocating for that, so please don't think that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, you don't play scared. Football is a violent sport, period. Case closed.
That's true.
Life is violent. Hell, how many times have we heard somebody fall in the shower or fall down the stairs and injure themselves? So, look, man, just if the doctors say he can go, all right, let's go. It's football. Shit happens, and I can't coach scared. I can't play scared. That's me.
Yeah. I hear you, coach, but I think the Giants should be cautious here. So just gonna look at the first couple games here. You got Dallas, you got the Rams, you got Tennessee, you got Arizona, then you get Washington, New Orleans, the Texans, then your bye week. I'm not saying keep them out the first 7, but do you want to throw them out there against Dallas? Do you want to throw them out there against the Rams and what they did, and Tennessee and Arizona? I'm not worried about those teams per se, but I'm saying is, can you get through those first 4 games without Neighbors if you think he needs a little bit more time? They already saying he had a setback. So if you think, and I know John Harbaugh going to say all the right things, Joe Shane going to say all the right things, the team doctor's going to say all the right things, but is Neighbors ready to go out there and produce for the New York Giants without limitations?
Well, again, are you saying if the medical and the doctor say he's good to go, you're still going to be cautious?
Forget the medical and all that.
Well, I can't. That's the thing. There's no way I can do that. I can't just forget that, because that's part of the process. That is part of the process.
But
so that's why I'm asking you.
Either way it go. If they know how
he's ready to go.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because I have to clear up something. You know how these things go, because they'll come out and say he's ready to go. He's on schedule. They're not going to tell you anything almost probably until it's up until that point. You're not really going to know. He going to come out there. He going to practice. They're going to ease him into some practices, yada, yada, yada. I know all that's going to happen. But I'm saying ready, full steam to go ahead and knock it out, Dallas week 1. Do you want to take that chance with your star player, or would you be more cautious? Even if they say, okay, well, he's a full go, but you seeing on in the practice field and in the film and all that, and he ain't looking like himself. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Well, based on the way you just presented that to me, medical is going to evaluate that and say, pull him back. Because based on what you're saying, he's not looking good on the practice field. They said initially he's good to go, but now on the practice field, they're going to pull him. The trainers are right there. They know that. That's why I'm saying You can't just
not necessarily if he's healthy and if he's cleared. But what I'm saying is he don't. The coaches are looking at him and it's like, okay, cool. We need to give Neighbors some more time to acclimate him into the offense and what we really trying to do, because he's not really ready. He's ready, but he ain't ready.
All right. In my experience, I've never dealt with a situation you're talking about ever. I've never seen it in college. I've never seen it. You know, I didn't do NFL, but I've never seen it in minor league, semi-pro, and I've dealt with guys who were in the NFL. I've never heard of somebody the medical telling you he's ready, but then he's not ready. That
happens all the time. Guys go out there and they say they're ready, and they go out there and they don't look ready, and there's all types of underlining medical things where we seeing guys playing with concussions and playing with injuries and different things like that. So don't tell me it don't go on.
No, that's different. See, that's what I'm saying. That's something different working up to the games, but they're going to know going up to the first game. Yeah, he's not ready. He's not fully ready. So we need to hold him out a little bit. Oh, okay, fine. If we're in practice and he's not looking good, and I go over to the doctors and the trainers and he's not looking good, and they go and they reevaluate him, yeah, different story. But if they tell me he's a full go, he's ready to go, that's my point. I'm not talking about the other one. He doesn't look ready. You go and you reevaluate. Okay, he's working his way up. Yeah, you're right. I'm with you there. Be cautious. I'm saying they say he's good to go. He's definitely good to go. Now
of course, if he's cleared, he's cleared. But I'm saying in the Giants situation, like, would it? I don't really know how to present this question to how I really want to ask it, because it's just gonna come back to the same thing. It's kind of like okay, he could be ready to go. You got receivers,
but it sounds like
you running the offense where it's more predicated on the running game. Okay. Do you need? All right, let me put it like this: do you need Malik Neighbors to win the first 4 games of the season? That's an easier question for you. For the Giants, do you think he needs to be out there?
This is totally something that I can't comprehend. Man. I just can't, because what I'm interpreting is a sense of being afraid of putting him out there because you're worried about getting an injury. And that's where I go back to what I said initially. I don't coach scared. I don't play scared. If you're ready to go, you're ready to go. If you're not ready to go, you're not ready to go. That's how I think. That's how I've been trained. If the medical tells me he's good to go, then I'm putting him out there. Now, if you want to say
a different question, though, I did that for a reason. Do you think they need him for the first 4 games?
Yes. But I'm not putting him out there just because I feel like I need him. And that's the thing. I get where you're going. I get that, and that's why. Do the Giants need him to win? Yes, they need him to win. They need him. I can't sit here and say if that's the case, then keep him out the whole damn year. If I say I don't need him the first 4 games, then I don't need him the whole damn season. That's as crazy as my mind and what I'm presenting to you is. That's me as a competitor. I don't coach scared. If medical tells me, if the doctors tell me he's not good to go, and this is the thing, we're talking about training camp, because Harbaugh said going up into training camp. So there's time for us to know and to build up to that. But if you're telling me he goes through training camp, he looks good, he works out, you put him in a couple of 1 or 2 preseason games for a few plays. I'm not saying a whole lot, but he looks like he can go out there and perform. And they run tests and they say yes, he's good to go. Then I'm sorry, I'm playing him. Fans, y'all may not like it. No, we want to sit him. Then I'm not your head coach, because I don't play scared. Because that's how I take it. If you scared to play the game, if you scared to coach the game, then what the hell are you doing being out there on the field?
Yeah. I don't think nobody's scared. You know what I'm saying?
No. I don't. No. But what I'm saying, if you're not putting someone out there and he's good to go because you just want to give him some rest and you're worrying about an injury coming back and all this and that, that's coaching and playing scared.
They put guys out there that wasn't good to go. I've watched.
Yes, I know that.
Pete Jones out there. I watched Jackson Dart run out the tent with a concussion. We've seen that. So
I played with guys who, you know what, were injured and you know what, they shouldn't be out there. Hell, I've had shots to go out there and play and I shouldn't. So I do understand that. Please trust me. But in the same token, I did that because I ain't scared to play. I want to play. So that's what I'm saying. In my mind, I take that as you're being scared. I'm not saying if the doctors say, no, he's not good to go. That's stupid of me if I sit here and avoid that. And, oh, no, you need to go out there. I should be fired if I'm the head coach. But if they tell me he's good to go, I'm not sitting here, oh, well, you know, I think we could win without him the first 4 games because I don't want to put him out there for chancing that he might get hurt. Damn it. Then why are you the coach? And that's me. I mean, that's.
And I don't think John Harbaugh would do that.
I know that.
You know, I'm just bringing this up for discussion purposes.
Yeah,
because it is a discussion. You know, people are worried about Malik Neighbors.
Right, and I get it. I get it. Yeah, and I've seen it. I've seen it on social media. I have Giants fans who've asked me, you know, they're concerned about Malik Neighbors, and I say the same thing that I'm saying to you. Let's see what the medical says first and foremost. You know, now look, there are people that don't trust the doctors and Ronnie Barnes. I get all that. I get people look at the MetLife field. I mean, hell, the World Cup, they have concerns about it. So I get all that.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra factors. I ain't even bring those up. I was trying to stick with, you know.
But what I'm getting at is, you know, look, ultimately, if the medical says he can go out there and play, and they're being honest, they're truly, genuinely being honest, and they care about Malik Neighbors and his future. Fine, let's go.
And I'm not going to say the thing, Coach. I think it's just it's a trust issue. I don't think some fans trust the Giants' medical people. I really
have
do.
Harbaugh. That's the thing.
Because they got so much history of injuries and devastating injuries, things like that.
Harbaugh bring some medical people over too. Some people he knows.
Barnes is still there.
No. I understand that, but didn't he bring some people to bring it to also be a part of it?
I think he may have brought in a couple people for something. I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but I get what you're saying.
They could put it in the chat for us, but yeah.
See, bro, I do get where you're coming from. Don't think I don't. I just don't agree with that point because I put more emphasis in the medical staff and the doctors because that's also their reputation. Let's be real. You know, these doctors, you know, outside of here, you still, you know, you look, you do well. You don't think people go running up to him and I want him because he worked on Malik Neighbors and he got him back out there and it could help me. So that's also your reputation. That's your business. You know, corporations, you know, some, you know, construction companies. So, you know, look, I get the trust. I do. I understand that. As a coach, if I'm with the organization and ownership says this, because those are questions I would have as Harbaugh. You know, I've heard and, you know, we can assure you, you know, that. And look, Ronnie Barnes is respected within the league. The fans is another thing. Throughout the league, he is respected. So, you know, fans are fans. We are fanatics. We are fanatical. You know, and we go over
and I'm in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, but I always thought of it kind of like that too. I'm like, yeah, I do put some blame on him, but you can't put every injury on that man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy.
Exactly. So there's more factors, and like you said. Can they win without him? Yeah, okay. I would like to think so, but do they need him to win? Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say you don't need him to win. Because if that's the case, if you don't need him, then what the hell you going to put him out there on the field for the whole year?
And the reason I'm kind of going at this because we getting into our team previews, man. Shout out to Pat. Y'all go check those out on the Aboriginal Sports Network. And I'm in the middle with the Giants because in one sense I'm like, is Neighbors gonna be there for those first couple games? As if he's not, it kind of changes how I look at them for this season. Because I think I'm with you. I think he needs to be out there for this to be a type playoff type team.
Look,
for the majority of the season, he don't have to be out there for every game. I get it.
No, and that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. Look, and if you want to say the first 4 games he's not out there, and we come out 2-2, I'm still like, yo, that's a good spot. That's a good spot. That really is. To start the season without him. And then he comes back and he plays up to his standards. Okay. I said it before. I said the floor is 7 games. The ceiling for me is 10. And that's being highly optimistic for the Giants. I'm more of they're probably going to be about 8-9-ish, which I think if for those who bet, I think that's what the betting line is like 8.5.
7.5.
Oh, it's 7.5. Okay.
Which is high for the Giants. That's really high for the Giants.
But it's also a matter of confidence in Harbaugh. See, that's the thing. I'm very confident in Harbaugh. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have us Baltimore in 10, 11 games running for the playoffs. I mean, 10 games is like, yeah, I'm highly, shit really falls the right way. But like I said, 8, 9-ish, you want to say 8, okay. I think that's about fair. And that's pushing us 4 over. Because look, what were we saying the past few years? The coaching was the biggest problem. Last year, there were a lot of games that we should have won that we lost. And if we won them, we were a playoff team. Yeah. Or Harbaugh, if you had him last year, those games we win. So that's why, to me, I'm looking at Harbaugh in a different lens. Because first of all, I've seen some crappy head coaching performance. Harbaugh, he has history in. Look, do I think he can definitely get us 8 wins? Yeah. 7, 8 wins? Yeah. I'm there. That's me. Mm-hmm. So if you get to 10, I'm ecstatic. Shout out to halftime because he says the Giants are going to be number 2 in the division and fighting for a playoff. So,
number 2.
Yeah,
Philly.
Yeah. He says it's Philly, Philly, the Giants, and Dallas. So and I hope my brother is right. I hope he's right.
I hate to say it, but this division is going to be. I think it's going to be a lot closer than in previous.
He says that too.
Yes. Yep. I don't see nobody like winning like 12 games and running away with division. No. I think all the teams are going to be within that 10 to 7 win range.
He says the same thing, and he says first place and second place is only going to be 1 game difference.
Yeah, I see it like that too.
So and look, other people say it's Dallas, and I get it. I understand.
And if it's like that, who's to say the Giants can't win it?
No, I'm with you. So again, like I said, it's highly optimistic.
Depends on Neighbors. That for me, a lot depends on Neighbors. Even with her, as far as winning the division. Now, them being competitive, winning 7, 8 games, whatever, yeah, I'm with you. But if Neighbors is there, I really think they can win this division.
To be honest with you, I'm going to be brutally honest. If we can get our run game going, and we can play defense, and we play complementary,
run and pass work together though.
No, I'm not saying no. Please,
lock in on that box. Please,
I understand. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm talking about. The run game's going because it sets up the play action. And the play action, what was one of Eli's greatest strengths? Play action, especially when the run game was going. Because you got to, like you said, you're loading up the box and you're playing the run. And then if we can get our tight ends, what does Pat always say? The tight ends up the seam. And he's right. And some of these receivers, if you scheme them up right, look, I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, but if it goes right, and things have to go right. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But my point being is, especially this offensive line comes together, and we can play in spite of what's his name, Runyon and JMS. I mean, JMS is all right. You know, I gotta see in this system.
I still worry,
but I get you. I understand. I understand. You know,
Runyon I think CC help. I think CC will help. CC's going to help that line more than people realize, because when you have a guy that plays with that mindset, man, you can't play soft playing next to him.
That's my point. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So, look. Maybe he rubs off on JMS and he, you know, his wrestling background and toughness comes out. I mean, I don't know. But my point being, if we can get the run game going, you know, because I don't agree with this, but like I said, halftime, he says he looks at Scatterable like an all-star. He sees all-star in him. And I know what he means, the toughness, the way he runs the ball, the physicality. You know, he's not as big as All-Star, so, you know, I'm not going to go there, but I get what he means. But the point is, if he can be physical, that is going to force teams to load the box.
Scatbo, he like White Bradshaw. That's what he reminds me of.
Perfect. That's a great assessment. So, but again, the point is, he's tough when he runs.
Yeah,
which is what we need. And if you have an offensive line that's physical and mauling people, or you know,
remember Bradshaw has some explosiveness in the open field, and Scatbo does too, but he wasn't super fast.
No.
In between those tackles, he was
exactly. So
you know what I'm saying,
you know
he ain't overpowering like Jacobs. Jacobs was just
no. Yes,
you know,
but that's
like that.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and you know, and you get Ricard in there, and he can knock some people back sometimes.
He gonna push you back.
Yeah, but that's my point. Now you're going to force teams, especially in this division, because if the running game goes the way I hope, like that, the division is not ready for a running game like that. They haven't faced anything like that. So
facing a lot of RPO,
but I'm saying the physical power.
That's what I'm saying. They haven't, because the Giants been giving them that with Daniel Jones and their previous quarterbacks, and Washington been giving them that too. They haven't. You're right. They haven't faced a power running game. This is a power running game, different type of running game.
Exactly, and that's what I want to see about this year. Even if we're 7 wins. But I see it. All that's telling me is next year, expect Harbaugh to really, first of all, load up on the offensive line, get big physical guys, because that's going to mean that, you know what, the ones we're worried about, they're going to be gone.
He gone. I already know he gone. He's out of here.
Yeah, you know, look, I'll be honest with you. If Harbaugh had his way, he probably would start Falele. He probably would. You know, or he would want Evan Neal to be in there, you know, because they're big and physical.
That's why they on the roster. He hoping one of them can develop to where he can either have a backup guard or he can replace Runyon. That's what he's trying to do. Yeah,
and if you can replace Runyon, that means you can cut him. That means you save some money also. So, you know, look, I get what he's doing. That's why it's like, look, if you know, look, we don't have it this year. I expect a lot of looks at offensive linemen next year, and I would say we could probably end up drafting 2. You know, maybe one early and one later in the draft.
It's going to be another O-line, D-line draft, because you're going to have to get a D tackle, because you're not going to have Reed here forever. You know what I'm saying? And the other guys on 1-year deals, so you're going to still need another tackle, even with Alexander here. So I see that being a high priority, and also those 2 positions on the offensive line. If JMS pops, Harbaugh gonna get him a center.
Oh, I get.
You know what I'm saying?
Look. I think Harbaugh is trying to see if JMS can not be like Linderbaum, but
he's trying to save Joe Shane's draft pick. That's what he's trying to do.
But he's also trying to see, can JMS be a little bit like Linderbaum, because they're about the same size.
At the same time.
Yeah. So that's what I'm. That's why I'm looking at what he's doing as a coach, and I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing. You want
the reason I say The reason I say he trying to not to cut you, but the reason I say, because I just wanted to clarify, he trying to save you. The reason I say that is because they wanted Lindenbaum. You know what I'm saying? But it was too much. So if you brought in Lindenbaum, JMS would be gone.
Yes.
See what I mean?
No, and that's why I'm saying, but if we look at their stature, they're about the same size.
Oh yeah, so that's right too on the field. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, if he can develop him and get him to play, I'm not saying exactly like him, but give us a little semblance, play with the angles and the proper technique, then you're like, okay. And that means you're also developing him. So then you're like, all right, we can keep him and keep going with him. So, but if not, guess what? He's up out of here. Running, we know is out of here. So, and you get you some big maulers, and that's even more the reason why. That's why I'm like, you know what? Work on the run game. Because now we force the division, everybody in the division, to play against us, to step up your defensive lines, because we're going to be physical in the trenches. Well, what do I always talk about? Being with the sexy fatties, being physical in the trenches.
That training camp gonna be lit, man. I wish I could go. But let's get to a little bit of
the Jets.
The Jets news.
Jets, Jets.
We won't spend long here. Let's see, where am I? Oh yeah, okay. So the Jets secondary, can the Jets secondary, is it underrated, Coach? Now, let me give you the names, and then we're going to go to our little article that we got. But because I think this Jets team is underrated for some reason. They might be on my sleeper team list. I swear I'm thinking about putting them on
with
there.
you. Damn, I wish I had Ox here with us right now. With my brother, because he's a him or Turk. Yeah. I coach with them, but they're my brothers and they're Jets fans, and they would talk like we talk about the Giants. They would talk with that passion about the Jets, good or bad. Yeah. Ox is real. He from the Bronx, or he was started in the Bronx before he moved to Jersey, but he gonna tell you the truth, and he'll keep it dirty. Like, them motherfuckers suck. That's the type of that's my brother. He'll be like, man, get this coach out of here. That's my
fire the bum. Yeah, that's how they talk in New York, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in Jersey, because it's a different.
Turk is from Brooklyn too, so he's a little bit different, but he gives you the Brooklyn flavor with it. So, but Go ahead, go with the article though.
So let me give you the names. Jets secondary. So we got Nashawn Wright, Micah Fitzpatrick, of course. Everybody knows him. They got he's the safety. They got Andre Cisco at the other safety. At the other corner, they got Brandon Stevens, who they picked up from Baltimore. They drafted D'Angelo Pons for the nickel. Backups, they got Azare Thomas, who we spoke to actually at the Senior Bowl. Quantes Stingers at the other spot.
He was okay last year for him.
Jarvis Brownlee Jr. backing up the nickel spot. And then they got your boy Dane Belton, backup safety, and Malachi Moore, who I like, backup safety. So they got a really good safety group. I will say that. Still maybe some questions at corner. Nashawn Wright, he was okay with Chicago though. Jets secondary, because remember, this is Aaron Glenn's team. This is why I'm focusing on the secondary. So Aaron Glenn is a former cornerback for the Jets. So they gotta, you know what I'm saying? They gotta get this secondary right. Remember, they traded Sauce Gardner for a number 1 pick. So you bring in Fitzpatrick to kind of lead the group. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, All Pro, um, from Jersey.
Old Bridge, New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. got a Jersey boy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you got Fitzpatrick, then you got Nashawn Wright coming over from the Bears, and he led the league with 8 interceptions last year. So, and then like I said, Azrae Thomas, who played for them last year, he played 12 games, but he had a shoulder injury. And then Malachi Moore, he's appeared in 17 games, tallying 95 tackles, second most on the team. And we know what Dane Belton can do. You know what I'm saying? So they added some guys, some pieces. So I ask this is the article here, by the way. But I do ask the question: is the Jets secondary underrated?
I think so. They have the ability to be. First of all, they're definitely going to be better than what they were last year. Definitely. And I do anticipate them to get some interceptions. That's definitely going to be.
They got Dane Belton, who we know, and then they got the interception leader last year, and then Minka. He's an All-Pro veteran, so yeah, they're gonna be.
But in all seriousness, yes, they're definitely a better team. And like you said, Aaron Glenn, he's a DB. He was a defensive coordinator, so you were a Jets you were drafted by the Jets in the defensive backfield. So yeah, they're going to step up, and yes, they're underrated. And they have a lot to prove, but I think they have the talent to go ahead and do that. So, and I think once they gel, they're going to surprise teams. They're really going to surprise teams, even in the AFC East. They're going to surprise teams. So, you're not going to come in and just walk all over the Jets like you used to. So, it's not the same. So, and plus, to be honest with you, Aaron Glenn might be coaching for his job. So, he gotta push that away from him. So, they could surprise a lot of teams. They could be like the Giants. They could be 7 wins. They could be 10 wins. So, and that's being highly optimistic. So, realistically, I think the Jets are probably going to be around that 7-8 win, just like the Giants per se. So,
yeah, I could definitely see that, and people gonna be like, "What?" But I'm trying to tell you, it's not that bad for the Jets. I want to let's look at their defense. Now their offense, I got some concerns because of what the quarterback is doing out there. But defensively, I think this team can be really good. I think they can be competitive, man. So, they bring over Sweat, Harrison, Phillips. They drafted Darnell Jackson Jr. and they drafted David Bailey. So they got Juwan Briggs. They got a couple guys here up front. They're gonna have to be able to get to the passer, but I do think this David Bailey kid is gonna give him some pop. Then you still got Will McDonald. So I don't know why he's listed as a backup. That's weird, but yeah. What do you think, Coach?
No, the defense. Definitely. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I'm thinking they can be competitive.
Yes. No. They definitely. First of all, you got the old vet there who's going to lead them back with the Jets, Demario Davis. Now he's not what he once was, but he's still smart and a veteran guy. He's going to make sure everybody's in the right position and know their responsibility. So, and he's just going to help the younger guys get better along the line. It's going to be hard to run on them with Sweat and Phillips right there in the middle. I'm going to be honest with you, and then you got Davis right behind them. You're not going to really run up the gut on them as easily as you think. And then trying to get to the outside. Okay, they're going to bring it. So, are they going to get teams to play behind the sticks so they can then let Bailey and McDonald unleash them in a sense to go get the quarterback per se. So, yeah, defensively, and like we just talked about the defensive backfield, they have some good safeties. Fitzpatrick is another vet. He's going to make sure on the back end they're all in the right position. They're all on accord, and they're going to mesh with the front seven to cause a little bit of problems from time to time. So, are they going to shut down offenses in the passing game? I don't think so, but they're going to be problematic, and they're going to create some turnovers. And look, you talked about Dane Belton. We know what he can do. For all he was with the Giants,
he's a ball hawk type safety.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna get turnovers this year. But let's move on to let's get to the basketball here, and I want to talk a little bit here about the Nets. And they've been having some summer league showouts, man. The Nets beat the Kings in summer league yesterday, 115-83. Yegor Doman, 22 points, 8 assists, 4 steals. Mikal Brown Jr., 16 points, 5 assists, 2 steals. And Drake Powell finally got his shot back. Went 6 out of 10, 4-7 from 3 for 18 points. This Nets team, coach, they got a backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
Those dudes can play. Doman looks smooth. He looks real smooth, and his shot has improved from last year. So now it's going to open up the middle, going to the hole, right? And you see him doing that and getting to the rack more. He had a couple dunks in the game yesterday. You could see him get to the free throw line a lot more. So I'm telling you, he's gonna surprise some people. I'm not saying he's gonna be a 20-point per game. He might average 20. I mean, he averaged 20 in the summer league though. But again, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's gonna be this all-star player. I'm saying he could be a guy that jumps and maybe be in the conversation for like a most improved player type situation. Because I see big time improvement from the guys that popped last year, Cooper Flag, Conker, you had a couple guys out there, and there was some guys, like I said, the Nets didn't have any of these guys in top 15 of rookie voting. Not any of their 5 draft. They had 5 of them, and none of them were in the top 15. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, who do they got? They got Yegor Doman. That's who they got. And Mikal Brown Jr. has been getting a lot of hype. I don't know if you've been seeing it on the internet or not, but he's looking pretty good, man. For his first couple of games now, he's a rookie, and not getting over concerned with that. Overhyped. We're not overhyping it, but what I'm saying is, you could see the potential. You could tell the potential. You see the eye test, and you could tell he has a feel for the game. We like to talk. I like to talk about those intangibles. He has a real good feel for the game, a good basketball IQ. His court vision is off the chain, so he's gonna get these other guys involved. I know he is this year. and you could see him transition. That's why I've been watching the summer league. I'm seeing the growth of these players. You could see one game he went off with the scoring. I think he had 20 something, over 20 points or something. And then the second game, you know, this game right here, he became more of a facilitator. With I think he had the 5 assists. So you could see he has that feel for the game. Like, okay, cool. Yegor has it. He's hot. Let me feed Yegor.
Mm-hmm.
Or let me get it to Chaney Johnson. That's the backup big man. Nets got some pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if, you know, one of them, you know, or a couple of them really show out this year, and maybe they play for a play-in. I don't know. What you think?
We talked about this earlier on the Pick and Roll podcast, because we even broke down the two conferences. You know, how people talk about, you know, the West is tougher, and we went through and we showed that actually it's going to be tougher in the East. The Atlantic Division alone is going to be tough. Yes, the top 4, and I said to him, I said, don't sleep on Brooklyn. Do not sleep on Brooklyn. I said before, Brooklyn can play for a play-in. If you look at their roster, Julius Randle is going to, you know, try and push you guys, you know, there. And Wagner, while Wagner is not, you know, someone that you can go crazy on, he's still a vet. And he's a grizzled type of guy. He's like one of those glue type of guys, you know. So, you know, you don't want to count on him to score points, but, you know, set picks, you know, be physical on the defensive end, get you some rebounds. You know, when you have easy shots, you hit them, especially if you're at the rim, which is going to help your young guys, especially as far as veterans leading those guys along the way. So, and then, you know, in your backcourt, like you said, I mean, you know, everything I've been hearing, they're there. You know, you have the pieces, not that you're there, but you have the pieces to build something in your backcourt. So, and to compete in the East, yeah, you know, like I said, we broke it down. Outside of Milwaukee, we legitimately said everyone can at least play for the play-in or the playoffs. And that's including Washington, that's Charlotte, Brooklyn.
Yegor is 6'9".
Yeah, I know.
What I noticed about the Nets this summer league is I think they can be a really good defensive team, but they missing that shot blocker. If you go out and you get you a real legit shot blocker, this team's gonna be tough to score on, because because the way they play in that backcourt that they got, you know, now Michael Porter Jr. and Julius Randle ain't wonderful defenders, but you have guys that you can put out there. Some of these young guys that have size and lift, like Yegor, like Clowney, like you know, you got Sharp, you got what's my other man's name? These kids, Drake Powell, Saraf, Danny Wolf. You got some of these guys, man, and all, you know, all these guys 6'8", 6'9". I call them the 6'8" Nets. You know, they all 6'8", 6'9", around in that range. And if you have that type of size and length on the court where guys can switch, you have a lot of switchability, then yeah, you can be a really tough defensive team and tough to score on and get open against.
No, I agree with you. And that's why, like I said,
and I think Fernandez, the coach, is not to just one last point. I think Fernandez, the coach, is he's implementing that. I think that's something that he's driving, is for this team to be a really good defensive team. But go ahead.
No, I mean, like I said, I've been saying Brooklyn is going to be a team that's going to be tough for a lot of teams. It's going to surprise teams. And look, can they compete with Charlotte? Can they compete? Atlanta confuses me because they have a lot of great skill guys, and they like you're talking about the Nets. They have guys in that range too. outside of McCollum, that can switch and they play some good defense. So, but Brooklyn can be right there. Washington is all contingent upon Trey and Anthony Davis if he's still there or not.
Trust that team. The Bonson look good though.
But if you go through and you look at their roster, they do have talent there.
There you go. They got a lot of talent. I just don't trust them. Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying.
I don't trust them to put it together. You know what I'm saying?
Look, somebody's going to be on the back end in the division, in the conference. We know that. We understand that. But the point I'm making is the Eastern Conference, seriously, top to bottom, is going to be a lot tougher. It's not top heavy like the West, because out West you pretty much say, okay, it's San Antonio, OKC, maybe Denver, and Minnesota. Then it falls off to the next group, which is like Golden State, the Lakers, maybe the Clippers, Portland, Phoenix possibly. Houston is like maybe right in between that group, depending on what happens with Fred. But my point being is, but if you look at the East, Knicks, Boston, Philly, Toronto, Cleveland. I mean, you can say you don't trust Cleveland depending on what happens with LeBron, but Indiana, what's going to happen with? So again, I'm sitting here looking at the East, and I'm like, Brooklyn is going to be right there. And yes, you're right. They can be playing for a play-in. They can be right there in that range between the 7 to 12, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. Yes, they can be competing. Like you said,
we got to see it from a lot of these teams. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We got to see what the Pacers look like with Halliburton back from the injury. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We got to see if the Raptors even get Kawhi Leonard now.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
You see what I'm saying? So we got to see what Giannis and Bam look like in Miami and how they
everybody, everyone.
So there is, and that's just a couple teams. They do have Charlotte. They made some trades. Mm-hmm, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Chicago, they got a young team, just like Brooklyn. So I mean, same thing with the Magic. They got a young up and coming team. Let's see if they can get back in.
Oh yeah, the new coach over there. What does he do? Because they've always had the talent. Yeah. But again, that's my point though. The East is not. It's not going to be. You're not going to run away in a sense. Have the top running away. It's going to be close. All year. In my opinion. So, and then that's right there.
That's gonna lead me into my next question. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said that like that, because now we're gonna get to the Knicks, and we're talking about the Eastern Conference. Mm-hmm. Are the Knicks still the favorites, Coach, or should they still be the favorites?
Yes, they're the champs. Yes. Just to be fair. They're the champs, and they should be favorites. Okay, will they? Will they win it all? That's a different story. But coming in, it's just like when OKC won. Everyone put them as the favorite. Out of respect, the Knicks, they won it, and look at how they won. Look what they did in the East. You could say what you want, but they did run through the East. And say what you want about San Antonio, analytics this, analytics that. They beat San Antonio 4-1 in the finals. They came back from how many points down to win game 4? Yeah. So you can't poo-poo it. Now look, the loss of Mitchell Robinson is going to be big. It is going to be big. I mean, when they got signed Drummond, I wasn't too happy with it. But
how do you feel about that spot, Coach? That's
the center.
Because you lose Hakporty, then you lose. He goes to Philly, and the big one, he goes to Boston. Mitchell Robinson. Mm-hmm. You have Cat Towns, and you have Andre Drummond, man, who looks so old and slow in that Philly game. And me and Pat was joking him, old man Drummond, like that. It was that bad. So I think you do need another piece. Now I didn't heard a rumor about Khalil Ware.
Yes, there's Khalil Ware they talked about. Whatchamacallit, who just got let go by Denver, is another one. What is it? Valanciunas? One of those Eastern European.
Yeah. The Valanciunas?
Yeah.
Let's get let go?
Yeah, it was somebody with Denver. whoever he was, Knicks
It
fans were
was
talking about him.
Valanciunas.
So, he's another one. They were talking about well, they said Messi from New Orleans, but they said no. But there's the other young center. So New York is exploring all options. Do I think they're going to get a third center? Yes. But and also it has to be the right price, because again, New York has already shown that they're not paying a lot of money, because they don't want to hit the second apron. So, and I think right now they have about like $6 million, I believe, in salary cap. So you got to fit under that, So and now if they do make a trade, that means you're probably, I've heard Dottie is probably one, and sorry to say, not Mitchell, Deuce McBride might be also involved in trade talks. So it's like, what are the Knicks going to do to get that center? Which is also, you talk about summer league. Jack Cahill and Nickel has been shooting the lights out from
that dude can shoot. Yeah,
exactly. And yeah, he's working on
his
his
defense.
defense.
Like 7 threes in one game.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I saw him, and I was, I saw some highlights, and Cahill, whatever his name is, Cahill, he's from Germany. He's all right. He's all right. So, it's like, I'm not going to see him go crazy, but that also might mean Kolek might be out of here, if this kid comes in, because the kid is, he's experienced playing in the pro league in Germany. So, and he's 20 years old. So, but the point being is to initially, what your point is, as the favorites in the East, yes, they should be the favorites, but it's not a wide gap. Boston, I think is right there. You could say Brown, Philly, if they gel and they don't have any major injuries, especially with Embiid, they're going to be tough. They're really going to be tough. And that kid, Phylon, man, that kid.
Philly keep getting these freaking guards. It's making me sick. We got some guards too, though, man. But they keep getting these guards, man. They're gonna be dangerous.
That's my point. What happens with Toronto if they do get and he has to sit for a certain amount? I
don't trust that situation either.
Look, we talked about that. I'm like, why is everybody putting it on Kawhi? What about the Clippers? Management is the one that had to do that. It ain't Kawhi going out and circumventing the whatever. But like I told them, I'm like, look, there's always been under the table shit going on for decades, man. So,
money is money, man. They gonna get the bread some way or another.
Yeah. So but getting back to the East, should the Knicks be the favorites? Yes, out of respect, because they are the champs. Now can they do it? That's a different story. Because remember, we've had 8 different champs in 8 years. So
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Coach. And I do think they'll be right there, in the mix again. But I'm looking at these moves, and Knicks, y'all better get a big man. I've been saying this shit with both these New York teams. I need a center for both of y'all.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes, you need it. But the thing with the Knicks, their starting 5 is the same. And for the most part, you talk about that. No. That's where I was going. Also, with
the play will get you through the playoffs.
But at least the Knicks do have most of their key depth players back too. Outside of Mitchell Robinson and Hawk Porty, you got Diawara back. You even have Dottie. Deuce is back. Kolek is back.
Ain't looking good in the summer league either.
No, I know, but I wasn't worried about the summer league. I think
I just put that out there because I was watching. I've been watching.
No, but we saw what he during the regular games, what he can do, and he knows the system. And I think he was just pushing to try and do other things, and maybe he was working on other parts. The coaches asked him to work on other things during the summer league because they did pull him. So it's not like you played a couple games and then you pull him. So when you pull players like that, because you know what they can do and you trust them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not worrying about Diawara. Dadier might be on the trade unless he steps it up. So my point being is they do still have some reserves. Drummond, I'm like, but if you can get you a third center, I wouldn't. And see, the thing with Drummond versus Mitchell Robinson, Drummond can get you rebounds, even offensive rebounds. Drummond is also a lot more productive on the offensive game. Now, you want to question his defense and his movement, but he can still score.
Coach, I'm about some defense. When it how you are about in football on that, I'm like that because that was what I played. I was a two-way guard. You know what I'm saying? I made my end on a defensive end. I need some defense out there. I get all the scoring. I know, offensive because they say the same thing about the Nets. But we could put up some points. Well, who's blocking shots over there? I need some defense. I need some players to be in there and get it gritty because we all know offense wins regular seasons, defense wins championships. The Knicks, that team last year, with Mitchell Robinson and OG and Bridges and Hart and all of them, the way they was playing defense and guarding and rebounding and hustling and getting those balls, that's what won them the championship. Not scoring.
I'm just because I don't think it's to the detriment. That's really where I'm going. The Knicks are still going to be a good team.
Them losing Mitch ain't going to kill them. I'm just saying.
That's my whole.
It's something to keep an eye on,
bro. You'd be surprised how many Knicks fans are like, "Oh my gosh, this is a big loss," and can we? Whoa, wait a minute. First of all, the starting five. Now look, just like any team, you can't have any major injuries, but it's going to be another season, and Coach Brown has said it. Once they went with what they played with Cat in the playoffs, there's more to this offense that they haven't implemented. So now it's like, okay, so what are you saying to me? So there's more you can add into it. So it's like, but again, they still should be the favorites. I'm with you on that. So that's the end of it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All right, we're gonna get to coach's segment. Let's do it, man. So, Coach, we got the coaches on deck, and we're going top 5 coaches in New York / New Jersey. So that's going to be our list. I believe I went first last time, so
I'll go first.
You're gonna be,
and I'm gonna say this before we get into it. There's gonna be some surprises. Y'all gonna be questioning. Shout out to you, my brother, for this one because this was to my heart because I'm a coach, but it was also tough. This morning when we talked about it, I was like, I got myself, and I kept stripping it down. I'm just, and you're gonna see. You're gonna be like, damn, coach. So I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, we're gonna get right to it, man. Coming right back, man, with coach's segment right after this. coach's segment. All right, man. I'm gonna let you fire it up. Let's get you.
And I'm going to say this in terms of my list. It's about winning. And now look, coaching is not just about X's and O's. It's not about winning. It's about impact also to your players. And, you know, these coaches also, in some ways, some shape, some form, had an impact to their players along the way. So, but it is about championships. So ultimately, you're going to see that there. So,
yeah,
let's get
something similar.
Yeah, let's get into it with number 5.
All right. Hold on. Let me get this off of here. All right, let's get to it. Starting off with number 5.
Number 5.
Now look, I know it's 2 on there, but if you see what it says at the end, they broke the curse. These are 2 coaches for the respective teams that play at MSG that won a championship and ended a curse of 50 plus years of not since the last time they won a championship. And the talent that they had on both teams, seriously, I mean, it just was like amazing, you know. Richter with the Rangers, and of course we see what Brunson is doing with the Knicks and the impact that they have on them on and off the court, you know, helping them think and see things totally differently in terms of how they play and expanding their games. So I mean, you know, if you sit here and you look at, you know, like I said with the Rangers, have my little notes here. Sorry, I closed it. But yeah, when he came in, Mike Keenan, both of them named Mike, but Mike Keenan, the Rangers had won in 54 years and came in and helped them win. And then Mike Brown, 53 years to help the Knicks win. So that's why I really couldn't separate the 2, because they ended up breaking a curse. And they deserve to be here on this list. So there you have it at number 5. Going on to number 4.
Number 4.
The Kings of Big Blue. Bill Parcells and Tom Coughlin, 2 Super Bowl wins each. Parcells, think about it. He won in 86. Do you not realize the last time they had won prior to that, and that was before the Super Bowl era, was 1956, when they beat the Chicago Bears 47-7? And then they went into, you know, a feudal era along the way. Parcells came in and he was close to being gone. But then he won in 86 and then again in 90. And then Tom Coughlin, come on, man. The undefeated Patriots, 18-0. They were going to win easy and challenge the Dolphins. And here comes Coughlin. And Coughlin, for a moment, I admit I was screaming for him to be fired earlier with issues with the players. And then they sat down and worked things out. And he led that team 2 times against the Patriots, who everyone seems to consider and crown the greatest team in the NFL history. But they are the Kings of Big Blue, and 2 championships apiece for the New York Football Giants. So they deserve to be at number 4. And I know this is surprising, being that I'm a football coach. But coming in at number 3.
Number 3.
I'm a Yankees fan too, man. And Joe Torre, the dynasty, 4 World Series championships, man. You gotta respect that. And I love my football, but I gotta pay homage to this, man. Joe Torre is elite. I remember when he was first hired, and I was just like, who? This bum? And coming right after coming right after Showalter, sorry. Because I was like, yeah, Showalter, you know, I was surprised they let him go. I was like, he was on par. Tory came in and with his calm demeanor and the way he approached it and helped develop the core four, man, he definitely is number 3 on this list. And I know it's a surprise because you're going to be like, well, he should have been at least, if it wasn't Parcells or Coughlin, why isn't he up higher? You're going to see why coming up in a second. But Tory, man, look, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Jose Posada, Andy Pettit, let alone bringing in Clemens, all these other ones along the way. Yeah, he deserves to be on this list. But coming in at number 2.
Number 2.
Another hockey. Al Arbor with the Islanders. 1980, 81, 82, 83. 4 years straight. Complete dominance on ice. Complete dominance. What he did with that team coming in here and helping that team and helping the players there take their games up. And like I said, for them to win 4 straight, man, that in itself is classic championship New York style, man. And it just, I don't think you're going to see in this area a situation like that again. So that's why he's number 2, 4 straight. Again, over Joe Torre, who won 4, but not 4 straight. And coming in at number 1.
Number 1.
Now I'm going to throw y'all with this because this is high school football. And high school sports, I'm sorry. Bobby Hurley Sr., because most of y'all probably know, the greatest high school basketball coach in New Jersey. 28 championships with St. Anthony's right there in Jersey City. And the amount of kids that he coached that helped get to the NBA, but to do other things in life after, whether college or pros. I remember Jerry Walker, tall kid, 6'7", and I was working in the old Margaret Haig Hospital in Jersey City, and his mother was working there, and I was doing security, and he came walking in, and I saw this young kid, and I'm like, oh, wow, you play football? He was like, no, because he's tall, but he's stocky. He was like, no, I play basketball. And, you know, we're talking, and he was like, yeah, I played for St. Anthony's. It's like, oh, okay. You know, and seeing the type of kid he is, well-versed. But the reason why I say that is, went to Seton Hall, played, you know, did a little bit. But afterwards, he went back to Jersey City, and he's working in government there, working in city council and things like that. Even Terry the Hare, another one who's working in city government, like city council down in Jersey City. The things that they learned from this man is more about life. And now the other one is Lou Rutantino, God rest his soul, high school coach, football in New Jersey, Union, New Jersey. Shout out to Big Dash, former farmer in Union, New Jersey. He knows exactly who I'm talking about. Legend in terms of high school football. Union County, Union, dominated. I mean, he was there when I was in high school. And during his 20 years at Union, 20 plus years, he won 10 championships at Union. 10. From the 70s, he got there in 1976. And before he passed in 1996, 97, and won his last championship in 1996, his 10th one. And the amount of kids that he impacted. When I went to Keene, because Keene is actually in Union Township, and there were a lot of kids that came from Union. Some of the guys who played football who, weren't going on to bigger levels, but they talked about him religiously about the impact that he had, and he influenced them to go on to college and do things. And he also had helped other kids get into higher programs, Division I along the way. And I remember one running back he sent out to Iowa, and the kid was a beast out there in Iowa. And he impacted kids in so many different ways that really helped them grow throughout their lives. So that's why, these two have to be on the list for me. So, and you know me, I always have a little honorable mention. So you can bring that slide up real quick. With the Devils, 3 different coaches who won championship: Jacques Lemaire, Larry Robinson, Pat Burns. With the Yankees, Billy Martin, Joe Girardi, and the Mets, Davey Johnson. I had to get those honorable mentions. There were 2 others who didn't make the cut because they got to the championship, but they didn't win it. And, one is Pat Riley, and the other one is Byron Scott with the Nets. Got to show respect to them. It's just they didn't make the cut because they didn't win it. So there you have it. That's my list. Go ahead and kill it. Go ahead, NYG. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, bro. Good list. Good list. I see you split hairs there with a couple.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that. So yeah, you gonna get a straight 5 for me, a starting 5?
I know.
But yeah, I like what you did there, man. With the themes, the 2 coaches that broke the curse. Of course, you got, the 2 big blue coaches, and those were hard. It was hard to decide some of these, Then you got the legendary coaches, Torrey, Al Arbor, and of course Bobby Hurley. We all know Bobby Hurley.
I know most I didn't know about Lou Retino unless you really
Lou Retino. I heard of Lou Retino too, but most people don't. But all right, let me get to my list. Go ahead and get to it. Let's get the set up here. All right, pull you off. All right, top 5. Let me get my slide here. Ready. All right, so like I said, I just did a straight 5, top 5 coaches. Now, you're gonna see a little bit of a theme here with these coaches because they all won something and at the highest level. And we're gonna start with number 5, someone some of you people may not know. So let's get it in.
Number 5.
So Kevin Lowry, that was the Nets ABA coach who won 2 titles. Now, coach, you said, hey, can't dismiss them ABA championships, and I'm not. I damn sure ain't. And I damn sure gonna show my Nets some damn love. Nets ABA record 168-84. NBA not so well, 129-234. But you see the 2 division titles, 2 conference titles, and 2 ABA titles in 1974 and 1976. And guess where my man is from? Brooklyn! Yeah! Let's go to number 4.
Number 4.
All right, coach, I cannot believe you put Mike Brown and you didn't put Red Holzman. What? Red Holzman, 6'13" and 387 with the Knicks. 3 conference titles, 2 NBA titles. Brown got 1. And I started to go there with Brown. I really, really did. But I said, you know what? Nah, this is New York. And he was the first to do it. And again, my theme is my theme. Red Holzman born on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. So another New Yorker that won in New York. Red Holzman gets the nod over Mike Brown. Mike Brown will be on this list one day. But I cannot ignore our history. Let's go to number 3. Am I going to number 3? Oh no. Now I am.
Number 3.
All right, Coach, you mentioned him. Didn't think you would, but I thought I'd put this dude on the list as well. Al Arbor. I mean, come on, man. You won 4 in a row? 4 in a row. We've seen the Bills lose 4 in a row. He won 4 in a row. We've seen teams make 4 in a row. You know, we seen Liberty make a bunch before they came through. This dude came straight out, man. Bong, 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 bong. 80, 81, 82, 83. Yeah. 5 conference titles. You see the record. 740, 537, and 224 with the Islanders. Yeah, man. Got to show the man some props here. He is not I'm sorry, a New Yorker, but he did win in New York. All right, we going to number 2 now. We're getting to the big dogs. Let's go.
Number 2.
All right, I ain't gonna split hairs. I'm giving the nod to Bill Parcells. I went back and forth with this, and I said, you know what? Parcells not only did it with the Giants, he did it with the Jets. Jets record 29-19. So I couldn't put a Jets dude up here. I just put Parcells for both teams. There you go. So maybe I did split hairs a little bit. Anyway, we know the 2 Super Bowls, 3 conference titles, 4 division titles, and Parcells, Jersey boy, definitely gets the nod over Tom Coughlin. Sorry, Tom Coughlin, man. You know, much respect to him, but got to give it to Bill Parcells for this particular segment. It could only be a number 1, though. Y'all can probably figure out who it is. Let's get it.
Number 1.
You goddamn right. Joe Torre. Who else gonna be number 1? Look at that record. God, let's just say 1,173 and 767. 4 World Series. He produced the greatest team I've ever seen in my sports life. I can probably honestly say that. We can have a debate, but that Yankees team in the 90s, personally for me, since I've been alive, was the greatest championship team I have seen and the greatest run I have seen from a team. And it was right here in New York. I mean, yeah. Joe Torre, you already know. Born in Brooklyn, again. My theme. Greatest coach ever of NYC or New Jersey, because we covered the Jersey coaches too. It's Joe Torre, in my unpopular goddamn opinion. Coach, talk to me.
Okay.
Muted.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I'll just to be honest with you, I like your list. And you want to know what's so hard about this? Because I thought about Weed Eubanks. I thought about Casey Stengel. Think about that. So that's why it was just like, I stuck to, for me, to that I can really remember, because I didn't know Kevin Lockery. I knew about him, but I didn't follow the Nets like that. I knew about, they started in New York and Long Island. They won the championships. I know about Dr. Dave J, but most of that is I learned that later in life. So my list, if you go back and look at it, it was more of that I could really remember and know. So because trust me, I said Weeb Eubank because that was the Jets' only Super Bowl. Because I was like, I need a Jet on here because he did win a Super Bowl. But I was like, I was just born, so that I can't put down there. And I thought about Casey Stengel, man. Casey Stengel is probably one of the greatest Yankee coaches over Joe Torre, man. You got with the teams that he had back in the days. I mean, now that was before integration.
But that's why I said my lifetime,
exactly.
Since I was born. You know, what I'm saying?
That's why I said that's why I said with Weeb Eubank. I was born when he won the championship, but I was a baby. I was an infant.
Now, I didn't watch Red. I didn't watch. You know what I'm saying?
And that was the whole thing with Red.
Some of these other guys, Al Arbor, nothing like that, but. I did not want to leave certain guys off the list because of the greatness that you 4 in a row. How can you?
Exactly.
I don't care, bro. If you watch,
I was in high school. I was in high school when he did that. So I know about it. So, but no, I get what you're saying. So and you're right. Red Holtzman. I did think about him. Because I was 3 and 6 when they won, but. Like I said,
remember what I said, not to cut you, but I was like current or all time. So when I was like Mike Brown currently right now is the best coach in the city. Maybe you could argue that currently, but all time.
No, I'm with you.
You gotta move the needle. You gotta move the needle a little bit more to get to that Holzman's level, man. Because of how he did it twice.
No, and you're right. You're right, and that's the thing. And look, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right. And when you the all time is why I said about Casey Stengel. But then I just said, I
liked you through the Jersey coaches though at the end though, because that is important though. High school,
high school is.
I'm glad.
Look, I was thinking about New York basketball coach. I couldn't remember the coach at Archbishop Malloy with Kenny Anderson and Chris Mullen and all them. So I was thinking about him, and I was just like, because it was during my time. Mullen is still part of my time, my era. Kenny Anderson was. I think Mark Jackson went there, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, there's just this is the beauty about New York City. Like people always talk about championship city, this place. I'm like, yo, y'all don't know. Y'all really don't know. If you come to New York, y'all hate on New York because you hate on New York. But the truth is, the matter is, Champion City is right here. And I can take it even further. We got the Liberty who won a championship. You got one of the women in New York City who won a championship. You got the Red Bulls and FC NYC that won the men's side. So I'm like, yo, there's championships throughout New York City that I don't think many other cities can match up. Now, soccer across the world, different story. I'm not even going to compare that. But, in terms of a city, nah, I don't think many can match up to me. That's why I love when you said this. I was just like, yo, this is on point, man. This is really on point.
Yeah.
So, to you.
Kudos.
Congratulations. Well done.
Yeah,
definitely, man. I love doing these. We're gonna continue to do them, and it gives people a little bit of insight. It gives you some history. It gives you some flavor. It tells you who we are. It tells you what the city is about. So these are pretty good. We're gonna keep it up, man. But we are also gonna keep up Coach's Corner, man. I know you got a couple little tidbits you want to get into. So it's doing this damn thing again, where it's not letting me get to the damn slides. Hold on. Let me go back here. And do this. Boom. Oh, you StreamYard. You killing me with this shit here. All right. I got you. I'll sort tabs. Let me get 1 second here. I'm going to refresh this thing. Give me one.
Coach's Corner is going to be a quick one. Couple things to hit on. Not be as well in depth, deep as I normally do have it. So
here we go. I don't know why it does that. All right. Coach's Corner coming right up. Let's get to it.
all right, appreciate everyone rocking with us, and just gonna get right into Coach's Corner because we're just gonna talk a little bit about the ladies as I always do, and just one other topic. So we're gonna start with the New York Liberty, and I call it Liberty spiraling. They've lost the last 2 games to the Lynx, the Minnesota Lynx and the Toronto Temple. They were down double digits in both games. Against the Temple, they actually fought back, but they ended up losing by 2 points. And as you see on the season, they're at 13-11, and they got 2 big games coming up tomorrow against the Dallas Wings, and then on Saturday against the Indiana Fever. And this will close out a 4-game road stand. So they need these wins big time, because if not, they're going to be sitting at 500. And right now, they're around the 7th or 8th spot for the playoffs. And they could be in jeopardy of not being in the playoffs. It's crazy to say, but yeah, there it is. So we're going to move on to the next one, which I call Liberty Shoegate. And that happened during the Toronto game. Guard forward Benai Laney, she was actually ejected from the game against Toronto for throwing a sneaker at Maureen Mabry. After an offensive foul by Toronto during the stoppage, Laney, she picked up a sneaker that was on the court. It actually belonged to Jonquel Jones, and she tossed it towards the other end of the court. And instead of reaching Jonquel, it actually hit Mabry in the back, and Mabry became upset. She was actually heading towards the Liberty bench before she was restrained. Game officials went to the video to identify who threw the sneaker. They saw Lainey Hamilton pick up the sneaker, Jones's sneaker, and they put it all together and they assessed her with a technical foul. Now, she had received a flagrant 1 foul earlier, which resulted in her ejection. I've never seen a situation like that before, and it just continues to add to the craziness and the frustration of this season for the Liberty. So there you have it for the Liberty. And then to close it out, I'm going to move on to a little Rutgers. Rutgers had 2 players reclassified from 2026. Sorry, 2026, 27. I keep saying 26. 2027 to 2026. So they're giving up their senior year. One is 3-star offensive lineman James Kukozo. He's a big get for Rutgers. He committed back in April. He was starting to get a lot of interest. But he has a great pedigree. His dad actually played at Michigan. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the San Diego Chargers in 1993. So, he knows the legacy of the Big Ten and what it's about. And he has his family support in reclassifying. And then there's 4-star running back Aiden Gibson. Actually, last week, he actually, I think it was on, if I'm not mistaken, it was Thursday or Friday of last week, where He reclassified, and he said he's coming over to Rutgers and early to get acclimated and to come in and play for Rutgers. I mean, he's a 6'1", 215-pound kid. He runs a 4.40, and he benches 285 pounds. So he's definitely going to be a problem, and he sees what happens when you commit to Rutgers, especially as a running back, because you get the recognition at the upper level, because you saw with Pacheco, you see what happened with Manungai. Rutgers has had quite a few running backs who've gone on into the NFL. You can go back to Ray Rice in that era, but there's always been a running back that has been going on to the next level. And this kid, 4-star, he sees it, and if they develop him correctly, he could be the next one to get there. So that's pretty much going to be it. Just wanted to touch that real quickly, and not much else in college because it's the summer. So with that, back to you, NYG.
All right, man. That is going to do it for tonight. Tonight's episode of Heart of the City, brought to you by the Aboriginal Sports Network and Unpopular Opinion Sports, along with Coach Ed from Coach Ed Sports. Yeah, man, Liberty, I'm concerned. Again, they are not looking good. I'm telling you, that we're gonna pay for that Knicks championship, bro. We're gonna pay for it. You think we ain't? You think all these other teams ain't gonna suffer because they gave them Knicks that championship, man? I ain't gonna say they gave it to them, but the Knicks won. Yeah. Poor Liberty.
By the way, Knicks, from what I was just looking at on Twitter, were doing very well at the ESPYs. They were doing very well at the ESPYs.
The little ESPN. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Brunson won quite a few awards.
He should have.
Yeah, and OG won Player of the Year because of that play, the tip in. Mm-hmm. So I was just scrolling real quick because wanted that info about those players. So but yeah. They did very well at the SB, so we'll you all will look it up and see. So
yeah, I just hope we don't have to pay with these other teams for the Knicks bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, because I need the Giants to get right. I need the Nets to get right. We want to see the Jets get right, and we damn sure want the Yankees to bring another one home. So. But right now, it's looking like that's what it is. We paying for the Knicks championship run. But it's all good, and it was all worth it, man, for the Knicks and the Knicks fans. And that being said, we're going to get up out of here, man. Like I said, please hit that like and subscribe. And we're going to catch you on the next ride. Peace.